Hey people, Strawberin0 here. Today, Underrail. In my be real, this is not the first time I am trying to record this reaction, but one time my audio completely fucked up. The government is trying to censor me, they're trying to cancel me. They don't want you to hear the truth. And the truth is, there is no reason for cheese to be that expensive. But I won't go on that rant anymore because they will EMP my computer and again strike my channel and do everything in their power to bring me down because I am the voice of the people who want their cheese to be cheaper. Anyway, what the fuck are we talking about? Yeah, Underrail review by SsethTzeentach, not to be confused with Undertale, which is tangentially related. No, I'm fucking with you. They are not related at the slightest. This is a review I saw before. This is one of the few games that Seth actually convinced me to pick up, and I played like a quarter of a way through before things got in the way. But this is a really cool and extremely brutal RPG. So let's see what Seth has to say about Underrail.
Hey people, Seth here. Are you tired of breathing fresh air and enjoying the sunshine? Do you suffer from agoraphobia and hate open spaces? Then why not take a trip down to Underrail? Much like its predecessor, Undertale, this game takes place underground, where humanity exists in a desperate struggle to survive after the surface was nuked by the major megacorporations of the old world
this
into
game
nothing
actually
but radioactive
works.
ash. Meet the locals.
For such a brutal game with such a heavy atmosphere, the art style of the game, I feel, doesn't necessarily translate that. Like, I think Fallout 1 and 2 look a little bit more gritty, and recent games, there's that one RPG, what is it called? Hunger and something, that has, it's an RPG maker game, but it has really fucking darker tone conveyed by the art style, obviously. Yeah, and like I said, I played this game, and going back to this footage like a couple of years later, it almost doesn't fit the game how it looks, because it kind of looks like a standard RPG. There is too much color, and I never really noticed that while playing, which is just something I wanted to point out.
Who are either unhinged, unstable, or just unsocial. Meet the friendly wildlife, which include but are not limited to refrigerators.
But at the same time,
no
I
longer
don't
hold
know
food.
what fucking art style would convey just how fucked the world of Underrail is and how heavy the atmosphere feels.
They hold giant crustaceans lying in wait, beetles, which now have a frontal cortex larger than most humans, which they use to cook you alive, and cave crawlers, which hide on the ceiling and inject your muscles with a paralyzing venom so they can drop down and suck out your insides like a fly. If that doesn't already sound like a great time, why not hop on down to the city, one of the last few remaining bastions of human civilization. And that's not all. We boast one of the highest murder rates per capita in recorded history. You're guaranteed to be shot, mugged, or drugged within the first 24 hours or your money back. So don't wait up. Sign up now and get dominated like the pipe worker you are in the best dystopian hellscape on...
I think in this game I spent more time like battling people actually in cities and hubs that are supposed to be safe. Just because there are so many bandits that are like, yo, pay $5 to pass through this alleyway. And I was like, I could pay you $5, but hold this molotov with your face. And then a 1 hour, 30 minutes fight ensues where I'm trying to use every single dirty trick in my book because I was so under fucking leveled every time for those encounters.
a market today. Underrail is an underground cave fishing simulator with elements of jet ski surfing. It came out at the end of 2015, and it's probably the closest thing to a spiritual successor of Fallout 1 and 2. It's a turn-based CRPG developed by the Serbians, and as with anything that comes from former Yugoslavia, it's absolutely brutal, unforgiving, and brilliant.
True,
So why
yeah, it
cover
is
now?
very...
Because it also recently
I don't wanna say difficult, because if you are smart, the game it is not that difficult, but brutal is definitely a good way to describe it, because if you fuck up, the game really punishes
got an expansion, Underrail Expedition.
for it.
Stig generously gave me a copy, so I thought, hey, how long could this possibly take? 1 week and 60 hours later, I finished it. Not the main plot,
I did not
the
play
main story,
the
just
expansion.
the expansion. This game is huge. Let's begin. Story. You play as some schmuck with no real ties or background. However, you've been recently accepted as a citizen of Southgate Station, one of the more civilized places in this world. Now it falls onto you to make sure your new home has a future. And that's it. No great calamity, no great disaster. We're already living in disaster, but we're trying to make the best of it. Good luck out there. You'll need it. Gameplay. Survival is your primary objective. Quests and missions get you paid, but they're always secondary to preserving your own skin. Before you start, you need to make a character, pick an avatar, and then you need to make the difficult choice between oddity XP and Classic XP. Experts are divided on opinion, so I'll help you make your choice. With Classic XP, you gain experience from committing murder, and you're gonna commit a lot of murder. With Oddity XP, you don't. You gain experience from dumpster diving, finding old pieces of gum, and looking at shopping receipts. Objectively, Oddity XP is far more realistic, since going through garbage cans and stealing copper wire is how most
It's a very interesting way to do leveling.
After you experience it once, you'll never want to experience it ever again. Also,
I
don't
played
touch the difficulty.
I played on normal XP again, but Oddity is cool because sometimes in these games, this is a bad comparison, but in Deus Ex, for example, both the old one and the newer ones, I always try to keep casualties to a minimum, or to even engage in combat to a minimum. And Oddity XP is a cool way to reward that playstyle, whether you are sneaking around, avoiding confrontation at all, like basically skipping fights because you don't want to waste resources. Most games punish you for that because you are not killing enemies, and enemies gives you XP, and XP is worth way more than ammo or health or anything in RPGs, because it progresses your character, it makes you stronger, and it makes it easier to acquire more XP. So giving an option to a player that sneaks around things to still gain XP normally, it's a pretty cool thing to do. The way the developers went about it is very unique.
You've got skills, perks, and attributes. These are all quite interesting, but I'm not going to explain them. You can't be good at everything, and when logic and reason fails, the only answer you can give is extreme violence. This game doesn't fuck around, and if your build sucks, you're gonna have a bad time. So I strongly recommend you take one of my builds, or builds that I stole from the forums. Doesn't matter which one, they're all pretty good. Combat is a big chunk of the game. Everything is turn-based, so you have to make your actions count, since very often you're outmatched, outnumbered, and outgunned. But
that is
unlike your enemies,
true.
You're capable of thinking for yourself, and despite the odds, you're very capable of dealing with almost every situation. So come prepared, and you'll live a long life. Guns, melee weaponry, traps, grenades, improvised tasers, and crossbows are just some of the tools available to you. If that sounds...
I just wanted to say that we don't use that word anymore, Seth, so you're cancelled.
Sounds kinda gay, you can just punch the meat off everything instead. Not only that, but your character also has the potential to harness their psionic energy. What's that, you ask? It's actually a very recent mutation, which lets humans and other wildlife use magic. And it lets you cook people alive, fry their brains, or strangle them with their own shadow. Why? I don't know, Underrail, because Underrail takes place in the Harry Potter universe, but instead of wands, you've got implants you inject into your brain, so you can abuse muggles with your mind magic. Thanks, J.K. Rowling. Of course, we can't talk combat without talking about crafting. In most games, crafting is entirely optional. In Underrail, crafting is the difference between life and death. For example, a machine gun, as you may know, is very painful. A single burst at point blank might even zone you out. So what do? We make a tactical vest and shove inside some Kevlar plates. Good work. Now, we don't actually die immediately. So, the enemy throws a grenade instead and shreds your internal organs. You're dead. Your money is now being used on the streets to buy both types of crack. Crack rocks and crack whores. How do we prevent this? By getting a shield. Not the Roman kind, the energy kind. The kind which has different frequency bands and involves a lot of money. The impact velocity of a grenade, extremely high. So we build a high frequency shield. Bullets don't leave a scratch. Grenades, a mild breeze. But a sledgehammer? Yeah, that's still bad for your spine. Also, your shield isn't gonna stop shit. So you die anyway, and your body participates in the free market. Reload and try again. You get the gist of it. Underrail's combat is a massive game of rock, paper, shotgun, which coincidentally gave this game a very bad review because they're not very good at their job. If we go a little
I mean, ain't that true for most video game outlets?
Further, here's a little taste of what you can do. Traps are incredibly lethal, so my current character frequently breaks the Geneva Convention by making improvised chemical bombs that digest and melt people's skin off.
Well, technically, Geneva Convention... Well, something just fucking fell. Sorry about that, my cat was being an asshole. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, like I was saying, actually, Geneva Convention technically doesn't apply to personal disputes, so... I'm sorry, Sonny Jim, but the acid melting your bones? That doesn't violate the Geneva Convention, so I guess you can't throw me in jail. What do you mean that's not how the law works?
Since he's good at chemistry, he can spike grenades with RDX, which can depopulate entire rooms. For anything that doesn't die instantly, we torch the room instead with magnesium. Magnesium burns hotter than petrol, fills the room with screaming charred bodies, and as an added bonus, even burns underwater. The crafting system is so damn good, it even inspired me to start crafting in real life. Now, while this sounds like the beginning of a manifesto, it's actually incredibly fun. The amount of creativity and options make each playthrough very entertaining. Aside from combat, there's no such thing as quest markers, just directions, so you'll have to learn and navigate the underground.
You literally, it's one of those like old school RPGs where you actually have to listen to dialogue and remember where NPCs pointed you towards, and then vaguely just kind of feel your way around the world. Which is good that it's not handholdy, but some of the quests can get stupidly complicated in certain games of this type.
Yourself, that's no easy task, and it's very easy to get lost, which is why Stig made a world map to help you orient yourself. It's very handy. As strange as it sounds, there's actually zero reason for you to explore. The places you have to be, the places you want to be, are easy to find. Any place off a beaten path is a place you don't want to be. Here's an example. There's nothing there. At least, nothing good. Just a lot of pain, a lot of venom, and a lot of antidotes you have to burn through for absolutely no reward. The caves are just that. Caves. What did you expect? In summary, the caves suck. Don't go there. Also, they remind me a lot of my own apartment. The ceiling recently fell off because of flooding. Did they repair it? No, they just stuffed it with cotton. And everybody pretends we don't have a problem. But at night, we can hear it. I can hear it. Scraping about and gnawing on the pipes. We've got a hobbit living in the crawl space. And it's hungry. This isn't a cry for help, I just wanted to explain my life situation. Anyways, I just leave it some chicken bones or whatever. Usually, he's pretty happy with that. There's not too many.
I wonder how many times he had to re-record that to not get caught by people entering and exiting the building. Because I assume he would have a lot of explaining, or he would just get a lot of weird looks if somebody was actually using the fucking staircase at that moment.
Quests in this game, but most of them are quite long and usually have multiple ways to solve them. For example, there's one quest where you have to investigate the serial murders taking place in town. After counting the possibilities, there's 5 different ways to solve it. In one of them, you can discover the bodies, download the serial killer's documents as proof of their guilt, and turn them into the authorities. The other 4 involve you being a dumbass and getting drugged by the serial killer. They strip you of your belongings, push you down a shaft, naked and defenseless, into their murder bunker. If you're too slow, they'll walk down and cut you to pieces. If you aren't, you can grab a flashbang, stun them, and crawl into the ventilation system. Once inside, you can either lockpick the safe on their weapons locker and gun them down, put together a weapon to defend yourself, pull apart the fuse box and electrocute them, or hack the bunker's defense systems to gun them down remotely. And that's just a small optional side quest. Another quest.
Yeah, it is very it reminds me a lot of New Vegas. I played Fallout 1 and 2, but I don't remember if Fallout 1 and 2 actually allowed you to resolve quests in that many different ways. I know that some did. Obviously, you always had a couple of choices to how to go about acquiring certain objects or whatever. But New Vegas in particular has so many fucking ways to do the quests that actually give you different options. It's insane. I did not do many quests in this game. I was trying to do the main quest and failing horribly at it before I shelved the game for later. So
Quest line has you
I cannot speak about the quality of quests here, but it sounds really good.
At the bar, help him out, and you'll find out he's not just some random stoner. He's actually an incredibly powerful being that can walk through holes in reality, and he uses this incredible power to steal hallucinogenic mushrooms from the general public. Sometimes, though, his visions aren't exactly accurate, and he does tend to screw up. This includes forgetting about the mutants he locked in his kitchen before he got high, forgetting about the cats he overcharged in his basement, and forgetting about rift walking health and safety when he teleports you both inside some Slavic military base in the middle of nowhere. He's a great guy, or should I say, a cool dude. This game's got amazing quest design, and if you want more evidence of that, there's another quest which asks you to track down and kill some gigantic savage living among the rat hounds, the self-proclaimed king of the rat hounds. Once there, if you're charismatic enough, he might offer you an alternative. You see, the king of the rat hounds has no queen, so you can go off and kidnap some guy's wife. Why? I don't know. That's not important. What's important is that you can provide some crazy caveman breeding material and ruin some woman's life just to see what happens. Dialogue is all.
I mean, that's what makes a good RPG great, in my opinion. Just options to fuck around.
Also very well written and doesn't drag on. The music and the atmosphere are absolutely perfect. Wherever you are, you feel it. Wherever you are, you're immersed. It's like I'm actually inside an underground ghetto where everyone is either high off their balls from barrel soup or watching live action blood sports on a TV. Underrail is not a game
I wonder why you feel that way, Seth.
You play once. I'm not biased. I'm just trying to justify my 200-hour playtime. Expansion! So, what about the expansion? The expansion itself is new content you can access around mid-game once you get to Core City. You get hired as a mercenary contractor to defend and assist an expedition into a region no one dares enter, the Black Sea. What's out there? Death, ruins, pirates. And even worse, for some reason, your arrival has really pissed off the Icelandic natives. And let me tell you, there's a lot of them. There's so many of them that it's only a matter of time before they overrun you. No pressure. This expedition was doomed from the start. You also get some sick jet skis and jet ski combat, where you throw surfer dude bro pirates off their skis and watch them drown in the abyss. In Underrail, nobody knows how to swim. And there's a lot of designs. You can buy anything from the boomer core blazer, the Shark with built-in torpedo systems, to the miniature naval tank Devastator, which is quite self-explanatory and very much lives up to its name. Jet ski surfing is the main way to get around an expedition, and there's some memorable locations. Old facilities filled with malfunctioning AI, eldritch abominations, and tribal burial grounds where you can spend half an hour pulling bodies out of swamp juice. The expansion dialogue is also amazing. You can spend half an hour deciphering native language and debating philosophy with the elderly. In general, this expansion is amazing. But I never mentioned, why are you here? What exactly are you looking for? And more importantly, why won't anyone tell you? Those are answers you can only find for yourself. And once you find what you're
Man, looking at the footage of a submarine only reminds me of the fucking boat that crashed during the deep dive to see the Titanic with those millionaires on board. Because that story is very recent at the time of recording, and yeah. Somehow it's fitting.
Looking for, you should ask yourself a question. Should I bring it back? Or was it buried for a reason? Criticism. Originally, I had some bad things to say as well. But you know what? I don't care anymore, because the expansion broke me. So if my voice betrays any hint of emotion, that's because I don't handle existentialism very well. And when a man starts to question everything, you might not like the answers you find. Final score. I came for a post-apocalypse CRPG. Instead, I got an exploration of the human condition, of you, me, and this entire species, what drives us, and more importantly, where our species is heading if we're not careful. Also, Taoist philosophy. It's a great game, it's a difficult game, and it's not for everyone. But if you've got the time and patience, it's a very transcendental experience. That is, if you can look past the bad and forgive the tedious. I give it a completely arbitrary score. You can grab a copy of the game and the expansion on Steam or GOG. And if Stig actually followed my advice, it's probably on sale already. As always, more content to come, so stay tuned. I might disappear for a little while, since I forgot what outside looks like. I heard it's quite bright out there. A warm thanks to the many members of the Merchants Guild, generously funding and bankrolling these videos, despite their lack of any kind of real value. You're all truly wonderful. Have a good one.
I just wanted to say, Seth certainly, as we discussed before, Seth certainly likes, first of all, making jokes about Mandalore gaming. Second of all, breaking in-game economies, which I'm fucking impressed he did not mention in this video, like a way to, you know, get super overpowered the second you get into town. But now I'm realizing he also loves those games that give off that Soviet era depression vibes, like obviously Stalker comes to mind. And Underrail also has that charm, you know. This was Underrail review by SsethTzeentach, a great game, and I don't think I need to explain to you why this video immediately convinced me to buy the game. Because it's just, it hits all of the right notes for me to recommend such a video. It's crazy that Seth went from making fucking League of Legends meme videos to making such actually convincing reviews for these hidden gems. I'm not even talking about indie games, because, you know, a lot of people go, oh yeah, this indie game that I found, fucking Hollow Knight, which is crazy popular anyway, or like Pizza Tower, or like Fear and Hunger, you know, those games that already get exposure through meme culture and sharing it around and other reviews. He doesn't really review that types of games. He reviews, like I said, Underrail, a game I have never heard about before. Outward, which also I heard from Seth directly for the first time. Like, he has a lot of those, and that's what makes his channel, I think, so endearing to experience. And yeah, that's it. That's it for today from me. Catch you in the next one, and as always, thank you for continuing to support my mediocre reaction videos, but what can I say? You people seem to like them, so take care of yourself, friends.